You look like the traveling sort. In your excursions, have you perchance come upon a young dark elf named Vaya? She went missing a couple of weeks ago and her father desperately seeks any information regarding her whereabouts. That's a shame. Her father, Eris, the house counselor here in Balmora, promises that anyone who can find his daughter and return her safely to his side will be well rewarded. You should speak to Counselor Eris. He's opened the kin house to interview potential recruits. Freelancers, as it were. If you're interested, go speak to the counselor. The longer Vaya remains missing, the more distressed Counselor Eris becomes. Counselor Eris can be found at the Redarin kin house, and do hurry. He's ever so troubled by our failure to locate young Vaya. If he finds that an outsider can succeed where the Houseguard has failed, so be it. I have no issue with Counselor Eris seeking help. It's where he's decided to get that help that concerns me. House Redarin doesn't need outsiders to take care of its business. But who am I to question a House Counselor? Fair. How can anyone not know about House Redarin? Is this some sort of Outlander ruse? Well, in that case, Redarin is the grandest of the great Dunmer houses. We champion the virtues of duty and piety, and we have a proud military tradition. Our house comes first in all things. I don't understand why Eris seeks outside help. If I knew what happened to the Counselor's daughter, I wouldn't be talking to you now, would I? As far as we can tell, she left of her own accord. There wasn't any foul play involved that we're aware of. Beyond that, you'd have to ask the Counselor. Counselor Eris Relith oversees Redarin operations in Balmora and the surrounding countryside. He's very influential, very powerful. Usually, the Counselor doesn't allow his passions to get the better of him. But Vaya is his daughter, after all.
Yes? Is there something I can... Yes? Is there something I can do for you, Outlander? My daughter has been gone too long, and the house guard can't seem to find a wall in the corner. But why should I trust you with this task? Tell me, Outlander, how can you succeed when my forces continue to fail time and time again? An interesting insight. Perhaps you can find my daughter. Vaya can handle herself, but the father worries, you understand? Anyway, I agree with your assessment. That's why I'm willing to bring in outside help on this. Vaya fled after a family disagreement. She's run away before, but I'm concerned that she might have something more permanent in mind this time, and more dangerous. Vaya knows how to evade the house guard, but as you said, she doesn't know you. Captain Briven oversees the house's attempt to locate my daughter. You should speak to him and see what his investigation has already turned up. He's probably patrolling the town square at this time of day. Briven's soldiers have been trying to get information out of Vaya's friends, but those young men and women are almost as good at avoiding the house guard as my daughter. That is a private matter. If your investigation proves fruitful, and such matters become relevant, we can discuss the particulars then, but not before. Like my daughter, my wife has a mind of her own. What the two of you discuss is your own affair. Just understand that I haven't employed you to solve my family's problems. I only need you to find my daughter. Vaya has always been fascinated by the Morag Tong. Even admired one of their agents when she was growing up. It's possible she sought refuge with this agent, or even decided to join the organization. Though I hope I am wrong about that. The Morag Tong? They're an ancient guild of assassins sanctioned by the tribunal to carry out honorable writs of execution. Ostensibly, they're supposed to keep the houses from resorting to all-out war. But I still find the practice barbaric. Someone of no consequence, and not at all important to accomplishing your mission. Besides, you don't find Morag Tong agents, they find you. Just pray it's not because your name wound up on one of their writs. That is a death sentence.
Not now, Outlander. If you need some sort of assistance, go find one of the House Guard. You must be one of the freelancers the Councilor employed to supplement the duties of the House Guard. Very well. I'll tell you what I know. Vaya ran away. Again. I hope you can succeed when my troops have failed. If anything happens to Vaya... I've known the Relith family since I was a child. Vaya is like a sister to me, and I'll do everything in my power to get her home safe and sound. Even trust an Outlander. We think her friends may know where she is, but they keep eluding us. Perhaps, as long as you don't get too close. They've been running notes of late. I think it has something to do with Vaya, but the runners keep evading my guards. Look for a group meeting on the other side of town, and see if you can follow the note. When you find Vaya's friends, remember to keep your distance. You just want to spot the note carrier and follow him to whoever's receiving these messages. That's the key to locating Vaya. If you can't do it, don't worry. The house can handle it. Vaya's a born warrior. Hard-headed, stubborn, a real pain in the ass. She can fight like an angry netch, though. I keep trying to get her to join the militia, and she always turns me down. That's not my tale to tell. If Councilor Eris or his wife won't speak of the troubles his family has had to deal with in recent weeks, maybe you can ask Vaya, if and when you find her. We started to notice groups of young dark elves gathering in out-of-the-way parts of the city. One of my guards saw them pass a note between them, but they split up and she lost them in the back alleys. Could be a love poem or a recipe for Kwama cream cocktail, but we suspect it's the way Vaya has been keeping tabs on what's been happening in the city. Look, it may amount to nothing, but the note could give us a lead on where to find Vaya.
Get this letter to Trevis. It's important. Just don't let House Redoran get their hands on it. If you think you're being followed, find a place to hide. Good luck.
something.
Hello, can I help you? Wait a moment. You're one of those hirelings House Redren pays to harass us simple folk. Look, all Vaya wants to do is to find out what happened to her brother. Too bad the house doesn't seem to care a swit about any of that. Vaya wants nothing to do with the house or her father. Why can't any of you respect that? Even if I wanted to help, I haven't seen Vaya since she snuck out of town. We communicate by notes, and this one isn't even about her. Well, if you must know, it concerns Vaya's brother. He was an officer in the House Guard before he vanished without a trace. We've been trying to help Vaya find him. A local tough, goes by the name of Ashur. He delivers the letters. We usually meet him outside of town to the northeast. But good luck trying to get any information out of him. Ashur is not known for his conversational skills. I think we're done here, don't you? I told you where to find Ashur. He's been passing our notes on to Vaya. Just to the north and east, outside of town. Or is this your way of offering to save me a trip, since you're headed his way? Balmora's not that big. Most of the sons and daughters of the house leaders and prominent merchants know each other. Vaya's one of us, and we'll do whatever it takes to help her find her brother. Well, within reason. And Vaya would do the same for us. That's why we're helping her. She really is a terrific person. I'm not telling you anything, you Redren lapdog. Sorry about that. I'm kind of on edge, if you hadn't noticed. Everyone knows Vaya's brother. Or they did, before he disappeared. Ulran was an exemplary officer. Everything House Redren could hope for. Vaya won't rest until she learns the truth. She ran away because her father refused to give her a straight answer. She suspects he was involved in Ulran's disappearance. Or that he at least knows more than he's willing to say. Is it any wonder Vaya decided to take matters into her own hands? You think I'm just going to tell you all our secrets, Outlander? Well, that's not going to happen. I won't betray Vaya. All right, all right. No need to get violent. Vaya doesn't want her father to find her until she's located her brother, so we help protect her. That's why we set up the runners. Let the Councilor's hounds chase us, while Vaya looks for Ulran. I'm sure Councilor Eris's intentions are good. He loves his daughter. Wants her back safe and sound. But what about what Vaya wants? Her brother home safe, her father's honesty, the house looking out for its people and not just its precious honor?
You killed one of my gang, Swit. No writ will protect you from us.
Feeling left out? I'm sure I can procure a writ.
That's it! Kill the Morag Tog and any witnesses!
I'll just take my leave. No use getting my axe bloody again.
I'm hurt!
I had that situation under control. Just needed them to make the first hostile move. Still, I cleaned enough blood off my axes for one day, so thanks for lending a hand. You were you? Was it Melissa? I told her I'd close out my tab after I completed another contract. That woman has the patience of an anxious Nyx. Well, tell her I'm good for it. I'll stop by and we can conclude our business cordially. Vaya? The new apprentice? Now why in oblivion do you care about Vaya? Are you now? And why do you want to do that? Never mind, I don't really care. I was asked to pass along some notes, but I'm not really the messenger type. I suggest you talk to Vea's mentor. Last I heard, she had a job in the Western Ruins. Make sure you don't anger Vea's mentor, or even look at her the wrong way. She's grown surprisingly protective of that young woman, and if she thinks you pose a danger... Besides, I'd hate to see you wind up on the wrong end of one of our writs. You know, the usual buyer's remorse. I see a lot of that in my line of work. Turns out, I had to kill a bad man who did bad things. The writ was legal and above board. Unfortunately, his brother didn't see it that way and was looking for revenge. Oh, you make it sound so obscene. Still, that's pretty much an accurate description. But it's not like I work for the Dark Brotherhood or anything. I don't kill anyone without a sanctioned writ. Keeps the great houses in line. It's a calling. I'd rather not. She's particular about her secrets, and I don't want to get on a bad side. You should keep that in mind too if you plan to continue on this course. Vea's mentor usually sticks to the rules, but I wouldn't turn my back on her.
Leave me, Outlander. Let me die in the shame I've brought to Malakath. Leave me, Outlander. Let me die in the shame I've brought to Malakath. Defeated by a lone warrior. Malakath will laugh at our incompetence. An assassin. Probably a Morag Tong. She tracked our leader here. But she doesn't know. We set a trap inside the ruins.
She's just one woman! Get inside the ruins and stop her!
Cultist? At least you sure aren't dressed like one. You're walking into a dangerous place, hero. You must be here for a reason. Questions? I don't have time for questions. I have a writ to complete. Look, I can't keep these evil cultists waiting. You want to talk? Find me after I finish this job.
Come out, little assassin! Or is the Morag Tong too scared to meet the powerful snag face to face?
On the sides!
How sweet!
By Malakath's sacred tusks, you won't get past me!
Excuse me, hero. I have to see an orc about a writ.
Don't kill me. I didn't mean to interfere with House Tolvani's plans. I made a mistake.
A mistake? Well, that explains everything. I'll just let the Tolvani know. I'm sure Mage Valian will understand.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought for sure you were going to kill me.
I am. I hate when my leathers get wet. And this is a new outfit, too. Ah, well. I suppose we ought to discuss what you're doing here. You're obviously not one of the Malakath cultists, so I have one question. Why the tusk are you following me, and why shouldn't I just kill you and be done with it? Yes, that was 2 questions, and an orc curse, and a threat. It's been a long day. Oh, that's not what I expected. But you can just turn around and leave. You're not going to find her. Faye's going through a difficult time right now, and the last thing she needs is some house-veteran lackey adding to her pain and confusion. Really? Is that what old man Eris told you? And did he tell you about Vea's brother? About how House Redwin exiled their favorite son? No? I didn't think so. Vea needs answers and I promise to help her. So walk away while you still can. Outsiders? Is her father really that desperate? Look, tell Eris that Vea's safe and you'll see her soon, but no more outsiders. If my organization gets skittish, they'll return to the shadows and take Vea with them. They'll only deal with you. Well, it's not exactly a lie, and I don't want things to get out of hand. I'll arrange a meeting, provided Vea agrees. You let Eris know she's safe. Get him to stop hiring freelancers before someone gets hurt. I'll send word when we're ready. That was poetry in motion. Not only is my organization getting choice assignments again, but we're starting to recover some of our prestige. Specifically, these Malakath cultists interfered with House Telvanni, so they had to be dealt with. Oh, him? No one special. Just the leader of this particular band of mad cultists. His name was on the writ, so I had to end him. It's what I do, after all, and I do it so well. I suppose if you're in for a sliver, you might as well be in for the log. I'm with the Morag Tong, and what you witnessed was a legal murder. According to my writ, the orc had to die. So, I killed him. Now, if you don't mind, I need to get back to Vea. Vea and I have a history. A brother, too. They were good kids. Liked to watch me train. Now I feel responsible for her. When she came to me looking for help and asked to join the Morag Tong, who was I to refuse? That was her decision, not mine. Vea's good with a blade and tracks like a Nord Ranger. She's a natural at this, and it gives me a chance to keep an eye on her. So now I'm her mentor and she's my apprentice. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I'm surprised to see you back here, but I'm also relieved. Does this mean you have news about my daughter? Is she safe? Is she ready to come home? Vaya joined that cult of assassins? I was afraid she'd do something rash. What was she thinking? I don't see the Morag Tong as safe, but at least she's still alive, so I suppose that's something. When are we going to meet with my daughter? She won't meet with me? No, I suppose she's not ready for that quite yet. As for Vaya's brother, that was all the doing of the Redoran Council. I'm not allowed to discuss the details, but he's still alive, if that's what Vaya is worried about. Naryu's back in town? She's as stubborn as Vaya. Very well. No other outsiders. Although I can't dismiss the mercenaries that Captain Brivin employs. House Redoran is my life, as is Vaya. I'll do everything in my power to see her home safely. As you say, no other outsiders. But there are rules, Outlander. I must do everything within reason to maintain the honor of House Redoran. Here, your first payment. Soon, however, I'll expect more than just a verbal confirmation of Vaya's safety. When next you see her, tell my daughter that I want to talk to her. Vaya can set the terms, and I expect her to stop running away when things don't go her way. Vaya has always felt shackled by the rules of House Redoran, hobbled by the many duties and obligations it presses upon its subjects. After the situation involving her brother, she decided she wanted nothing more to do with the house, or with me. That may be an oversimplification, but I suppose your statement is accurate. I walk a narrow path between House Counselor and loving father. Unfortunately, the former often supersedes the latter. That's why I want to speak to Vaya again.
Well, look at that. Naryu said I'd find you here, and damn it all if she wasn't right. Did I mention how much I hate being a messenger? Makes me wish I had a writ so I could kill something. Anyway, Naryu wants to talk to you. Said you'd know what it was all about. Here. This should explain everything, sort of. It's a map. We change locations every other day for security reasons, just in case it falls into the hands of House Redoran or someone else with an axe to grind with our organization. Never had to use a map before. Amateurs. This one leads to a key to one of our safe houses, and another map. The first map? It depicts a particular town. Kind of like this one. Hint, hint. The rest? Well, you'll have to figure that out on your own. Look, I know you're helping Counselor Eris, but if that map falls into House Redoran hands, I'll probably have to kill you. Nothing personal, mind you. We're already having a bit of trouble with the house, and we'd rather not make matters worse. What are you implying? Can't a person do something nice to help out an ally every now and again? Oh, who am I kidding? I hate playing the messenger. Haven't you ever done something you hate because it was the right thing to do? Then you understand what I'm talking about. Being noble, doing the honorable thing. It can be a real pain in the arse, but a favor given becomes a favor returned. Eventually. Well, look at you. You're a practical genius. Look, Naryu seems to trust you, so I suppose I have to trust you too. But that's a powerful secret you've been given. Betray us, you'll find my blade in your back. Unless Nayu kills you first. The Morag Tong has the authority to accept and carry out writs of execution. We keep the great houses from engaging in all-out war, but they rarely appreciate the work we do on their behalf. House Redorin in particular wants to shut us down. The other houses have used us to take Redorin down a peg or two of late. To be frank, for all their vaunted honor, the house cries foul whenever someone gets the better of them. Our status is tenuous enough without Redorin's constant harassment. As I understand it, the Morag Tong made mistakes in the past, grew too arrogant. We had to lay low for more than a century. Now, we're taking select contracts, working to re-establish our reputation. It's not our fault most of them concern Redorin. What are you implying? Well, not all of us can afford to be so cold and heartless. I'd say I envy you, but that would just reward you for bad behavior. Why are you still talking to me? Don't you have a map to puzzle out?
I've got a lot to do here.
Sorry about all the subterfuge, but we can't be too careful when it comes to security around here. Don't be so eager, my darling. It reveals too much about your ultimate intentions. But yes, Vea would very much like to meet with you. You intrigue her, and your connection to her father could prove beneficial once she knows she can trust you. Redorin records. House officials keep track of everything. Incidents, commendations, births and deaths. Whether important or mundane, they detail it all in their registry. Vea believes the registry contains information about her brother Ulran. Don't sound so offended. You had to know your hands were going to get dirty eventually. You are dealing with assassins and politicians, after all. The local keeper of records, Lord Drono, is away, so security at his townhouse should be light. still alive, I see. And since you're here, that means you weren't captured and hauled off to a Redoran dungeon. Good for you. Were you able to acquire the registry? And does it contain any information about Thea's brother, Ulron? Ulron was exiled? That can't be right. He's an exemplary officer and a good man. Plus, he's the son of a counselor. Why in oblivion would House Redoran banish one of their brightest stars? I can see that. There has to be more to the story, but I'm not sure how we get it. Still, you proved you could be trusted, and you admirably performed this task. So I suppose I should let you meet with Vea now. There's an abandoned cave along the coast. It's in the swamp and smells like rot, which makes it the perfect place to hide. Vea's supposed to wait inside, but she's bored. I know she's been sneaking out. You'll find her in the cave or just outside. Get to the swamp and find Vea. She's eager for any information about her brother, so she's really going to appreciate getting that registry. Just try not to be too charming when you meet her hero. She has enough distractions as it is. Vea would face too many temptations here in Balmora. Friends, favorite places, familiar sights and sounds, not to mention the proximity to all things House Redoran. Even the most thick-headed house guard would eventually stumble over her. Oh, don't thank me, hero. As long as you're useful and don't betray us, then we're engaged in a mutually beneficial arrangement. Cross us in any way, however, and you'll never see my blade before it plunges into your heart. Well enough. Ulron and Vea used to sneak out to watch me train. I have a way with blades that fascinated them to no end. Eventually, our fondness developed between the three of us. And to think, I never even had a nick sound growing up. It's not like personal relationships are against the rules, though I suppose they are sort of frowned upon. Anyway, my assignments always brought me back to Vvardenfell, so we were able to keep in touch and visit even as they grew older. Anything's possible, but the Ulron I know holds honor above all else. I can't believe he'd do something so dishonorable that the house leaders would demand his exile. We need to find out more about what happened. Vea's young, bored, and stubborn. That makes for a volatile combination. She wants fresh air and freedom. I can't blame her for that. I can blame her for assuming I'm not aware of her little excursions. I thought I trained her better than that. Danger's a relative term, especially when you're dealing with relatives. Vea can make her own decisions. If she wants to risk getting caught by House Redoran, that's on her head, especially since she knows they've been searching that area.
And you're sure it's Vea? House Redoran isn't emptying its coffers so you can chase your own tails out here.
You pay the war claws well, because the war claws are the best there is. We have the kitten's scent. It's just a matter of time before my warriors catch her.
Of course, Ferrara. Just make sure she doesn't get out of the swamp. I'll take my soldiers and guard the eastern paths, in case she eludes your warriors again. Ah, the Counselor's lackey. I understand you've made significant progress in your search for Vea. As a matter of fact, so have we. This whole ordeal will be over soon, and then you can be on your way, Outlander. My mercenaries have spotted Vea skulking about the northern portion of the swamp. Between my soldiers and Ferhara's warclaws, the Counselor's daughter will soon be home safe and sound. Vea's brother? It's a sad story. Killed one of his own soldiers to protect an Ashlander of all things. I think they were being too lenient when they simply exiled him. But that's how they treat the privileged few. Ulron always had an unnatural attraction to the Ashlanders and their savage ways. He felt that an Ashlander life was worth more than a Redoran life. The Council didn't agree with his assessment. This will all be over as soon as Ferhara finds Vea. Khajiit mercenaries of the highest order. For members of a lesser race, Ferhara's warriors are surprisingly effective. I employ them to bolster our forces. Between obligations to the Pact and other matters, House Redoran is spread thin of late. As you say, Ferhara's war claws take their contract as seriously as you do, however. Get in their way, and I can't guarantee your safety.
Ferhara assumes the Councilor's minions will not present a problem for the war clause. Yes, Captain?
The Outlanders have been warned, Ferhara. I leave everything else to your discretion.
Ferhara enjoys a friendly rivalry as much as the next mercenary. But the Relef kitten belongs to Warclaws, yes? Let's not get our tails tangled over this, Dullclaw. Forbade is such a complicated concept. It assumes that the rules are applied equally to everyone, and we both know the foolishness of that assumption. The Warclaws have a long-standing contract that predates any proclamations by the Councilor. Captain Briven's predecessor? Forgive Ferhara. This one can barely remember the names of those who lack claws and fur. But yes, we worked with Ulran, though Briven appreciates our technique so much more than he ever did. Trade secrets, you understand. Ferhara can tell you the Warclaws do whatever it takes to accomplish the job. This assignment is perfect for us, since we specialize in missing persons. We find them, we make them disappear. Whatever the client needs.
Yeah! Stupid Warclaws. Now I know how a mouse feels. By the three! You really shouldn't sneak up on a person like that. If you're working with those mercenaries, I assure you, you won't take me without a fight. Oh, right. Now you mentioned something about that. Look, I can't wait to hear what you learned, but the swamp is crawling with mercenaries. There's a cave to the northeast. We can talk there. Unfortunately, there's a mob of those beast people between here and the cave. I was going to try and sneak past them, but every time I get too close, I think one of them catches my scent. You're going to tackle that mob of fur and claws? I'm impressed. Meet me at the cave when you're finished. I think we have a lot to talk about. Oh, and try not to get killed. I really want to know what you came all this way to tell me. Meet me in the cave to the north when you finish with the mercenaries.
I can smell the Dark Elf kitten. Looks like we're the first ones here.
Up here! Hurry, before more of them show up! What do you think of my luxurious accommodations? It's got dirt and rock, fungus and a poultry fire, all the comforts of home. Anyway, you said you had information about my brother, Oran. What did you find out? No, that can't be right. Oran's honorable and noble. He's a model soldier. What could he have possibly done to warrant being banished? What? My brother has always been interested in the Ashlanders. Even showed them a kindness the rest of the house doesn't approve of. But for him to kill someone, especially one of his own soldiers, something terrible must have happened. I know the tribe that Oran liked to help, brought them supplies and such. He'd go and visit their camp whenever our father wasn't paying attention. Will you go with me to talk to them? Wait, someone's coming.
She can handle herself just fine, hero. Vea, grab your things. It's time to go.
Go? Why? What's going on?
The Warclaws are marching toward this cave, along with half the House Redoran soldiers in Balmora. We need to go now.
Damn it. They must have followed us. I'll get my stuff.
Dealing with an arrogant, impatient, overconfident young woman. Now I know how my mother must have felt. We need to move. It won't take those damn cats long to find this place, not with their sense of smell. The back tunnels. Better than heading out the front door and right into the main contingent of Redoran troops. Councillor Eris brought additional soldiers from town. He's intent on getting his daughter, and he may have the numbers to do it. One more thing. The back tunnels wind their way through territory that House Redoran recently acquired. We may run into some resistance, but it shouldn't be as bad as what's waiting outside the front of the cave.
Does the ceiling look unstable to you?
Search everywhere. Captain Priven thinks the Councillor's kitten might try to escape through these tunnels.
Damn! Those cat bastards are harder to shake than a blind date. This looks promising. Let's give it a try. Oh no, we're surrounded! And that's my father! What's he doing here?
Sweep the caves. If you spot Vaya, report back to me. She's not to be harmed.
I prefer that you don't harm the agents I hired either. There's no need for bloodshed.
Father ruins everything. I'm so close to finding my brother, and he shows up to drag me back home. Well, I'm not going back without a fight. You do that for me? Thanks, I guess. But what can you possibly do against all those soldiers? My father brought the whole damn army with him this time. Clever. Tell my father whatever he wants to hear. That might actually work. Afterward, meet me at the Ashlander camp to the south. My brother would often visit that particular tribe. It's as good a place as any to start. Once I find Ulran and make sure he's alright, I'll meet with my father. But that meeting will be on my terms, not his. And tell him to call off his soldiers, or I might change my mind. That should buy us some time.
Halt! Who goes there?
Stand down. These outlanders work for me. The captain reported that he had seen you in the area. There are also multiple reports that Vaya has been spotted. Tell me, have you seen my daughter? I won't sleep well until she's home, safe and sound. I also said that the captain has his own resources. The Warclaws report to Priven, not me. Look, we're all just trying to get my daughter home safely. Now, tell me what Vaya's thinking. It was a gamble, I admit. An opportunity I couldn't let slip away. You won't make me feel guilty about trying to find my daughter. So, where and when will Vaya meet with me? Very well. We'll do this her way. Vaya can be as stubborn as her mother sometimes. But tell my daughter that my patience won't last forever. Next time, I expect Vaya to be with you. Or I might just let Captain Priven do this his way. Do as I command, and let them pass.
certainly aren't Ashlanders, not with those tales.
This is disturbing. I can't believe this. Why allow the Warclaws to run roughshod over the camp like this? What's House Redoran thinking? And what in the name of the three have they done with the Ashlanders? My brother often visited this camp. Took me along a couple of times. It used to be such a vibrant place. So full of life. I know House Redoran wants to expand along the western coast, but I never expected they'd set the Warclaws loose like this. If Ulran was here, he'd never stand for the Warclaws invading the camp. He told me the Ashlanders were the same as you and I. Different beliefs don't necessarily make people bad. We need to see if we can find out what happened here. I really want to help, but Naryu won't hear of it. We don't get our hands dirty unless there's a writ attached. She's so fond of reminding me. We'll hang around and wait for you to find something before we move in.
Veya, I don't think this is a good idea. We're trying to keep you out of House Redoran hands, remember?
You're not my parent, Naryu. I can take care of myself, even if the Mother of Blades doesn't think so.
Damn it, Veya! You know I hate that title.
If I'd realized how popular this camp was going to be with Outlanders, I would have moved the tribe ages ago. You don't appear to be one of the heretical invaders, but looks can be deceiving. What do you seek, stranger? Ah, Ulran the Exile. He disgraced his family and lost his status, but remained true to his heart. Ulran is here. He tried to stand against the Redorans, just as they detained me within this yurt. I assume they dragged him off to the mine, along with most of the tribe who refused to let those tribunal dogs walk all over us. Or should I say tribunal cats in this instance? Be wary. The mine will be as protected as the camp, maybe even more so. It's a small hole in the ground, but it served us well until the Redorans and their Warclaws arrived. Now they toss my people aside and lock the door. Warclaw Irgazar carries the key, but there is a spare in the supply yurt. Get the key to the mine from either the Warclaw's commander or the supply yurt, whichever suits your needs. Perhaps you'll find what you seek within Kudanot's depths. To keep the head and the body separate. As long as I'm here, I can't offer my people hope or advice. And I certainly can't compel them to rebel against these invaders. I have no doubt. However, my place remains with my people, at least for now. The Warclaws have treated me well so far. They believe I can make their tails fall off if I so choose. Who am I to dissuade such creatures from their beliefs?
If I can smell you, Outlander, then you can be certain the Warclaws have picked up your scent. Leave now, and maybe you'll escape with a little flesh still clinging to your bones. House Redoran doesn't care. They marched in with their Warclaws and claimed the land. Anyone who tried to resist was imprisoned or sent to the mines. Me? I decided my life was more important than my tribe. You can't be more disgusted with that prospect than I am, but at least I'm still alive. And all I have to do is direct them to the best resources and show them where some of my people hide every now and then. A small price to pay. Ulron? You'd think he was some kind of saint the way he walked in and handed out supplies. He came back after his house threw him out. Never said why they exiled him. The wise woman might know where to find him. They have her in one of the yurts.
We're just going to burn them? Even the rhetoric?
Captain called them traitors. Said the good roasting was more than they deserved.
Intruders! War claws! Attack!
Down here! Come on! Wait. What's that smell?
Veya, stay back. You don't need to see this.
What happened here? Oh gods! They murdered these poor Ashlanders! Oh no! Oran! Oran! Wake up, please! You can't be dead. You just can't!
Veya shouldn't have had to see this. Even I'm finding it hard to believe that the mercenaries would slaughter these Ashlanders for no reason. Not to mention the son of a house counselor. Doesn't make any sense. I suppose anything could happen in the heat of the moment. But to kill a veteran, even an exiled one, that's presumptuous even for the war clause. I wonder if Eris knows about this. I'm not sure how Veya's going to get her answers now. I've seen these before. They use them in Eastmarch to record and send important messages. They're expensive and as rare as a sober Nord, but Ulron was always attracted to the contrivances of other cultures. Shall we see what it has to say?
If you're listening to my voice, know that my time is short, and what I have to say is important.
Brother, is that you?
Everything that happened was a deliberate act to discredit me. I need to report the events so my sister can learn the truth about her brother. You have to understand, I don't share my house's hatred and distrust of Ashlanders. So, during my normal patrol, when I heard that Ashlanders had come to Balmora and were causing trouble, I was dubious to say the least. I arrived to find one of my soldiers arguing with the Ashlanders. He spat at them, called them savages. When one of the Ashlanders objected, my soldier drew his sword. Before I could intervene, my soldier's blade struck him down. I ordered the soldier to stand down, but he ignored me and stepped toward the second Ashlander. I killed my own soldier. I had to. Before I knew it, I was dragged before the Redoran Council and exiled. I never even got to say farewell to my sister. I believe I was set up for this fall, but I don't know by who. I came to this camp for shelter, but House Redoran's reach grows ever longer. Now Captain Briven's here. I'm going to talk to them, just in case I made this stone for my sister Veya.
Oran! Damn it. What am I supposed to do now?
Intruders! War claws! Attack!
Oran's not supposed to be dead. That wasn't the way this was supposed to end. What am I gonna do now? Damn Oran for leaving me that damn message! And damn him for dying on me! Gods, I miss my brother. I still don't understand. Oran said someone set him up to fall. Who would do such a thing? And why would they do it? Oran never wanted to hurt anyone. So that's why they exiled him? That's why they killed him? He was too damn good? That's the problem? We've got to find out who did all this. They won't get away with this. I won't allow it. Oh, I'll find them all right. And when I do, they'll pay for what happened to Oran. I swear by Mafala's sacred web and the first blood my blade ever tasted, I'm going to avenge my brother.
I agree with Ulran's assessment. Certainly sounds like someone led him into a situation guaranteed to make him fail. I can't believe he put this burden on Veya, though. What was Ulran thinking? I didn't say that. I'm just not sure how to proceed. We're entering dangerous waters here, going up against House Redrin. And we don't even have a writ to protect us. I'm going to take Veya and head back to our safe house in Balmora. They found our cave, but the abandoned basement is still secure. After that, I'm not sure. The Morag Tong has rules. If I break them, I'll have to deal with the consequences. We can't just kill with wild abandon. We follow a code. We only execute those whose names appear on sanctioned writs. If we kill respectable citizens without a writ, that's just murder. So, without proof and a proper writ, my hands are tied. You do that, but be careful. We're not sure who in the House Redrin is involved, and I'd rather not see you wind up like these poor Ashlanders. Veya and I still need your help to get to the bottom of all of this. We'll see you in Balmora.
And so the Outlander returns, as we discussed in the swamp. I expected you to return with Veya, or present me with a time and place for us to meet. Tell me, Outlander, which is it to be? Complication? What kind of complication? I ordered my soldiers to stand down and let you do things your way. But instead of results, you bring me excuses. No, that's not possible. My son was banished, ordered to leave Vvardenfell and never return. Why would he disobey me and go to those savages? Veya was with you? And you left her out there? By the three, everything is unraveling no matter how hard I try to maintain control. I need you to do something else for me, if you would, Outlander. Tell my daughter I'm sorry. Tell her she needs to stay away until I can calm things down. I don't want to see anything happen to her. Promise me. And take this. Consider it payment for your efforts thus far. If you'll excuse me, I need some time to consider everything you've told me. Once I determine the best way to proceed, I'll contact you. In the meantime, make sure Veya stays away from Balmora and House Redrin. It was never meant to be an attack. I sent Captain Briven to clear land that already belonged to House Redrin. The Ashlanders were given an opportunity to depart. The situation didn't have to turn violent. Those damn savages should have just left. House Redrin has been slowly expanding in that direction for years. We claimed that area almost a year ago, but we were forced to temporarily abandon it when a massive ash storm hit. Before we could return, the Ashlanders moved in. Redoran depends on that land for hunting and resources. The Ashlanders are like a plague of insects. They sweep into an area, take everything, and move on. We couldn't allow them to do that here. So, I sent Captain Briven to convince them otherwise. The captain serves House Redoran with honor and dedication. He's out doing his job. If Briven had anything to do with my son's death, he would have reported it to me. He'd have no reason to keep such news from me and the other counselors. I'll speak to Briven when he returns. But understand, the captain operated under my orders. He's an exemplary soldier and an upstanding member of the House. Like me, everything he does is for the betterment of House Redoran.
Outlander, over here! Now you told me what you found in the Ashlander mine. I can't imagine what Vaya must be going through right now, but she shouldn't be alone. That's why I came looking for you. Nayu has responsibilities to tend to. Morag Tong responsibilities. Understand? She left me to keep Vaya company, but I'm not very good at spouting words of comfort and solace. Unless I can kill something, I'm very good at that. You do understand. And now you implied you're as dense as the ash storms coming off Red Mountain. Good to know even the Mother of Blades can be wrong. Vaya's upset, and not just about her brother. She wanted to go with Nayu. One other thing. Nayu's job concerns House Redoran. That's why she didn't want Vaya to accompany her on this one. Vaya's grief-stricken, angry, and ready to lash out at anyone and anything, so keep your head low and try not to upset her. I have experience getting on a lot of people's bad sides. Women, especially, find me exasperating. Irresistible, but exasperating. It's a gift. Something about who Nayu's target is. Thinks the target may know something about what happened to her brother. Look, I'm not even sure how Vaya found out who Nayu's target is, and I don't want to know. Just go and talk to her, please. Carefully, and with your hands empty and clearly visible. She's in the safe house beneath Balmora, or at least that's where I left her. But I didn't lock the door, so I suppose she could be anywhere by now. I suggest you hurry and get down there.
What Naru? Oh, it's you. Sorry about that. Did Arshor send you to check up on me? I swear, the next person that treats me like a child is going to find my dagger in their stomach. Gods, I'm not mad at you. I'm just annoyed at everybody right now. No, I don't think so. It's just been difficult. Finding poor Ulran in the Ashlander camp. I need to be doing something. Sitting down here in the dark, hiding, that's not going to solve anything. I know, but Naryu's writ, it involves a Redoran counselor. Exactly the opportunity I've been waiting for. The counselor knows who set up my brother. We need to talk to her before Naryu executes the writ. Do this for me, and I promise to stay here. Well, Naryu wouldn't tell me any specifics, but she trained me well. It wasn't hard to sneak a glance at the writ before she took off. Her target's at Arenum Manor, out in the swamp. Not far from that smelly cave, actually. I appreciate you agreeing to see what you can learn at Arenum Manor. My father used to say it was used by counselors as a retreat, but Mother always told me it was where they conducted business that required a certain degree of privacy. That's all I've been doing. Thinking. And I think Ulran was right. I think someone wanted him out of the way, and they orchestrated the event with the Ashlanders to do it. Someone played my brother for a fool, and it cost him his life. Briven's as stubborn as my father when it comes to following the rules and regulations of House Redoran. Ulran and Briven were best friends, even if they argued from time to time. Politics, foreign relations, the Ashlanders, you name an issue, and Ulran and Briven were probably on opposite sides of the argument. It got to the point where I had to ignore both of them or they'd drive me insane. You did? How did he take it? I mean, he didn't know that my brother was dead. Really? I suppose that makes sense. I think he loves us, in his own way. But what else did he say? Did he know that Ulran had been banished? He didn't expect... My father doesn't know his children as well as he thinks. Either of them. That's why I had to get away. Join the Morag Tong. At least Naryu understands me. Mostly. I can't agree to that. I need to figure out what happened to my brother, who was involved, and then I'm going to make them pay. Just you watch.
I expected you hours ago, hero. It's not polite to keep an assassin waiting. I was wondering how long it was going to take Vare to convince you to follow me. But she thought I didn't notice when she glanced at my writ, didn't she? Where is my overly curious apprentice, by the way? I know Vare wants answers, but this is my job. There are rules, especially where the lords of the great houses are concerned. There might be a way to deal with this, though, provided you're willing to help. First, don't kill any Redrons. That's a violation of my writ and could have serious consequences for both of us. Second, you sneak around and search for anything that pertains to Ulran's exile, while I figure out how to deal with the Counselor. We need to be invisible. These things work best when no one but the target knows we're there. If you get spotted, you're on your own. I even cough on anyone without a writ, and the Morag Tong will have my head. It's unusual, but not unheard of. True, most writs taken out against the houses target low to mid-ranking officials. The Grand Master is cautious when it comes to accepting such a high-profile writ. Apparently, though, this target has been very bad. Councillor Dovera has been conspiring with House Drez to promote the slave trade and avoid scrutiny by Redrin and Pact officials. She played a dangerous but profitable game, and her coffers were overflowing. Until someone noticed. I'm not privy to the laborious investigations that took place. In cases like these, though, the target usually becomes complacent and lets her guard down. She made a mess. Now I get to clean it up, for the good of Dunmer society. That's the question, isn't it? It nags at us the way the torchbug nags at the brave little scrib in those children's stories. Once we discover who Ulron's torchbug is, we'll have a clearer understanding of why they set him up and why he had to die. I'm not saying that. Accidents happen. But they certainly made sure Ulron was in the wrong place at the wrong time, both in Balmora and again in the Ashlander camp. In addition to whatever you can find here, we should also talk to Captain Briven. Briven's name keeps coming up. At the very least, he was Ulron's best friend once. He might be able to shed some light on Ulron and what happened to cause his exile. And I really want to know what took place after Ulron left us that message. Vare's my apprentice, and I'll decide when she's ready to take on a mission. She's been through a lot, and her actions reflect on me and my status in the Morag Tong. She may not appreciate it right now, but I'm trying to keep the both of us on track. That's how it works. Her actions are my actions. Vare goes out and executes 3 writs. I share the credit and get praised for training my apprentice. On the other hand, if she kills someone without a writ, the Morag Tong takes both our heads. There have to be. My order came this close to being eliminated. It's only recently that we've started to make a comeback, and only in Dunmer territory. If we can't control the actions of our members, we'll be hunted down and destroyed for sure. The front door's guarded like a bank vault. Maybe there's another way in through one of the buildings by the docks.
Tell that stupid Swiss to watch his back.
This looks promising. Might even lead to the wine cellars. I could use a good bottle of wine. See what you can find pertaining to Uran. I've got a dagger and a writ with Councillor Dolvara's name on them. If we don't find anything, maybe we can ask for an invitation to the upcoming council meeting. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer our questions. Issued in advance. That's going to do the councillor. Damn the luck. I was hoping for a quick stab and go, but it seems the Counselor might actually know something about Ulron. So Councillor Dolvra does know something about Vea's brother. Damn it all. Now I suppose you want to actually talk to her before I execute the walking pile of pond scum. Of course we do. I specifically waited for you to arrive because I figured that would be the case. Still doesn't mean I'm happy about blurring the line between helping Vea and performing my duty as a Morag Tong. We discovered that the next meeting of the High Council will take place at the consulate outside Balmora. The war clause and the Ashlander abuse aren't completely sanctioned by the House, and Dolvra was present when Ulron was exiled. Not a bad haul. That means we have to get Dolvra to spill her guts before I spill her guts. Just keep your wits about you, hero. Dolvra wields her feminine charms the way I wield my daggers. Don't let her seduce you into doing something stupid before I end her.
Ah, you must be here about those pesky patrol schedules. After all that clandestine correspondence, it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person. Now, come closer so we can celebrate our partnership in a proper fashion. Well, look at you. I'm impressed. The last person House Dres sent over was so much more scruffy. I have a meeting with House Halalu shortly, but I think I can spare a few more moments for you to seal our partnership, you understand. The noble's banished son? Why does House Dres care about that? Never mind. Anything so we can get to the good stuff. Ulron was tested and found wanting. Chose the life of a savage over his own soldier. We stripped him of his rank and exiled him. Ulron's dead? I hadn't heard. As to who was behind the test of Ulron's loyalty, what does that matter? He failed and paid the price for his poor choices. What does all this have to do with our arrangement?
You aren't clever enough or pretty enough to avoid what's about to happen, Dolvra.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you people?
I'm a Morag Tong with a writ that says you're a criminal and a traitor. That means I get to end your miserable existence. Take another look around, hero, and see if you can find anything else related to Oran. More proof. The Dolvera. That's Captain Briven's seal. I suppose our evil counselor courted favor wherever she could find it. The good Captain Briven appears to be more involved in Oran's fate than I had imagined. He never struck me as the type to use murder and deceit to get ahead, but that's the problem with greed. It causes decent people to make stupid choices. Or he's trying to hide something. The letter mentioned an intact squad sent to scout the old fort. You need to get out there and see what those soldiers know before Briven gives them new orders and they disappear. I suppose she's probably pulled tight as a bowstring waiting to hear something. Go talk to Vea while I present my writ to the authorities. I can't wait to see the look on the Redoran Magister's face when I tell him what his counselor was up to.
Back again? Took your sweet time. You didn't learn anything, did you? Not that it matters. Oran's dead and nothing can change that. What good is that going to do? They won't speak to us. House before family and all that. Believe me, I'm more than familiar with Redoran honor. Still, I suppose I know a few ways to get people to talk. More rules. I thought we were beyond those kinds of limitations. Look, I need to figure out who's responsible for Oran's death. House councillors, Redoran soldiers, Ashlanders, whoever it is, they need to pay. Riven was Oran's best friend. Would he really betray my brother? Regardless, I want you to have this. You could have handed me to my father and you didn't. Other than Naryu and Asher, you might be the only friend I have left. So which soldiers are we talking about? I know most of the people my brother used to work with. Eyewitnesses are better than notes in the house registry, provided I can actually get them to talk to me. There's no time to waste. That fort's near the cave where I was hiding. Last time I was there, the fort was crawling with cultists. We need to find them before Vatala and his soldiers wind up sacrificed to some Daedric prince. We'll get Vatala and his soldiers killed. I know the process. Turning in a writ can take hours, maybe even an entire day. I'll leave Naryu a note. She can meet us at the fort. I'm going. Either come with me or get out of my way. Let me gather my gear and write a note for Naryu. I'll meet you near the Hlormaran stronghold. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am that we'll learn who's responsible for Oran's death soon. Then blood will flow. As far as I'm concerned, rules got my brother killed. They don't apply to me anymore. Besides, to find the soldiers, we're probably going to have to carve a path through those cultists. The Morag tongue won't care about that. That's what the handbook says. Look, I know what Naryu's done for me. To keep me safe, I appreciate that. But this is about what they did to my brother. Nothing else matters. Not Naryu, not you, and certainly not me. No, never. You and Naryu aren't my enemies. I just need to get justice for Ulran. Otherwise his death will be the first of many. We have to be able to resist laws that make no sense or get people hurt, without being afraid of getting exiled. I know Vatala. He's a typical Redoran soldier, loyal to a fault, always spouting nonsense about house and honor above all. He was devoted to my brother, though. Ulran considered him to be one of his best. Ulran had a habit of putting the needs of others ahead of his own. He probably told Vatala and his soldiers to remain quiet. Decided to take responsibility and save them any heartache. I hope these soldiers remember that when we find them. You're here, I'm here, the damn cultists are here. You know who isn't here? Battler and his squad. They're probably hiding. Or dead. They better not be dead. Nariu's probably busy clearing her writ, and we don't have time to wait. This opportunity to learn more about what happened to Olran won't last much longer. We need to find that squad of soldiers. Fine. You wait for Nariu. I'm going to go and find those soldiers. Their orders were to scout the old stronghold. I suggest we search along the outskirts and see if we can pick up their trail. A Redoran officer's sword. No Redoran soldier would leave that behind willingly. Bedroll, still wrapped and ready to use. Standard issue for a Redoran soldier. Corporal Darvel. I knew him. But the others, they're civilians. They must have taken Tellem's soldiers inside. Fate was such that no woman would have him. Let's find the soldiers and get out of here before these stupid cultists realize what's happening.
Who's that? Wait, Bea, is that you?
Thank the three! You're all still alive!
I'm not sure what you and Vare are doing here, but... This isn't the time or the place to have that discussion. I'm not sure what you and Vare are doing here, but let us out. Then we can return Vare to her father. Councillor Eris has been terribly worried since she disappeared. This isn't the time or the place to have that discussion. Get the key to this cage, and then we can find a private place to talk. One of the cultists carries the key. I don't think he's too far away. We hear him patrolling around every so often. Free us, and I'll tell you whatever you want to know. You have my word as a veteran and as an officer.
Another sacrifice for the Prince of Bargains.
I knew I shouldn't have told Vare the truth. I knew I shouldn't have told Vare the truth. I just made everything worse. Please let us out of here. We have to stop Vare before she does something she'll regret. I told her what she wanted to hear. I was with Captain Ulran the day everything happened. I was commanded to lure the Ashlanders to town and set up a situation for Ulran to deal with. My orders were to invite the Ashlanders to Balmora to trade, send some local toughs to instigate a commotion, and then get Ulran to investigate. It was just supposed to be a loyalty test. Who expected Ulran to kill his own soldier to save a savage? Captain Briven, though he was still a lieutenant at the time. As soon as I explained all this to Vare, her face turned dark and she stormed out of here. I think she's going to Balmora to kill him. You need to let me out so I can warn the captain. Thank you. Now, get to Balmora and stop Vare before she does something she'll regret.
Yeah! Get your ass over here, hero. We've got a situation and it's not good. I leave you and Vare alone for a couple of hours and everything goes to oblivion in an ore cart. Why did Vare leave the safe house? And why is House Redren tearing the city apart to find her? You did what? I suppose you thought that was a good idea? Well, the damage is done. At least tell me you found something to make this debacle a little more palatable. That explains why Vare broke into the kin house. I'm not sure what happened in there, but she certainly stirred up the Redren soldiers. Vare might still be inside. Or she might have given them the slip. She could be anywhere by now. If Vare kills Briven without a writ, the Morag Tong and House Redren will both want her head on a silver platter. You check the kin house. I'll grab Ashur and see if we can pick up Vare's trail in the streets. Don't let me down, hero.
Scour the streets. Search the buildings. Vvardenfell does not leave this city.
The young woman, she killed them all. Didn't say a word, just walked in, drew her blades, and cut down every soldier who tried to stop her. And her eyes, I never saw such rage as I saw in her eyes. She headed upstairs, to Captain Briven's apartment, I think. I can't believe she killed all these soldiers. No, she totally ignored us. Just the soldiers. Nobody else was harmed.
What's the meaning of this? Where are the soldiers? If you're looking for my husband, I'll tell you the same thing that I told that brazen young woman. The council is meeting outside Balmora, and Briven is protecting the councillors. Now, if you don't mind, I've had more than enough excitement for one day. I could barely make sense of the nonsense she was spouting. It was Vea, Councillor Eris's daughter. Everything she said was a ramble. Something about my husband betraying her brother, that my Briven had to suffer just as she was suffering. She had a knife, but no, she didn't harm me. She said her brother wouldn't hurt an innocent, that I wasn't responsible for his death. Do you have any idea what she was talking about? Because I certainly don't. You shouldn't get involved. That young woman will hasten her own death if she thinks she can get past my husband and his soldiers. But if you insist, the meeting is taking place at the garrison north of Balmora. Dead soldiers? They were just protecting the kin house. I'll go stay with my sister in Vivek. Briven is the finest soldier I know. He'll set Vea straight. I'm sure of it.
Sorrow and gloom.
Please tell me you found Vea. I can already feel the cold steel of the executioner's blade on the back of my neck. Is Vea trying to get herself killed? You can't just barge into a Redren garrison and ask the soldiers to stand aside while you murder their captain. We have to get to her before she gets to Briven. She murdered soldiers without a writ. This is a dark path she's decided to follow. And unless we play this just right, it's not going to end well for any of us. Let's find Vea and put a stop to this. We can deal with any consequences after that.
Yeah!
I don't like the looks of this. Briven is using war claws to patrol the garrison instead of Redren soldiers. Either House forces are stretched thinner than I thought, or Briven wants to justify the use of mercenaries to the council. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. We know Ulron refused to employ mercenaries. He hated counting on thugs to do the right thing. I expect the Redren Council feels the same. Maybe Briven's trying to show them what the War Claws can do. The War Claws may be a blessing in disguise. I can explain killing these bastards a lot easier than trying to wipe Redren blood off my hands. Let's go stop Vea. I'm ready when you are, hero. There's no stealthy way to approach this. The front door's our only option. Then we track down Briven, find Vea, bonk her on the head, and get her out of here before she does something I can't fix. Easy as gore apple pie. Glad to see we all made it. Now let's find Brivin before Vea skewers him.
You will give Khajiit some moon sugar, yes? This one is not superstitious. That brings bad luck. Eating all is no good. The alternative is a lot worse.
Like many Redoran structures, this place is huge and designed to serve a multitude of purposes. We're going to need to split up to cover it all. We must find Brivin and keep him alive until I can talk some sense into my damn apprentice. He's going to be as mad as a bullnetch and twice as ugly, provided we can actually convince him we're here to save his sorry hide and that we're not part of a plot to kill him and the counselors. Just another day at the fair, right, hero? Nothing yet, eh? I hear voices behind this door, but it's locked tight. Keep looking, hero. I haven't so much as heard or seen even a whisper of Brivin yet. Just lots of snarling war claws. If we can't get through this door, there's only one other way to go. It's always important to figure out where a target keeps its wine. In this case, down in the cellars. There's a staircase back where we first came in. And if we still don't find Brivin or Vea, well, at least there'll be plenty to drink. And I'll figure out how to get this door open, just in case. You know, attending a House Redoran Council meeting was always a secret goal of mine. Right after getting a lusty Argonian maiden to scrape my flesh raw with her abrasive tongue.
Sounds like a... You! What are you doing here? Explain yourself! What in the name of the three are you up to? I thought you worked for Counselor Eris. You better have a damn good reason for killing the mercenary leader. I ought to sound the alarm and let her warriors deal with the likes of you. Vea? She's barely out from under her mother's apron and she presumes to judge my actions? No matter. Whatever your motives, nothing justifies the blatant killing of Ferhara and her mercenaries. Counselor Eris can't protect you this time, Outlander. Ah, now everything becomes clear. Vea learned something of her brother's fate and wants to retaliate. Then let her come. But know this. I merely set the events in motion. I didn't conceive the plan. You're looking for the responsible party. Then look no further than Counselor Eris. He wanted to prove his son's loyalty to the House. To show that Oren's fascination with the savage Ashlanders hadn't corrupted him. Well, look how that turned out. A test Oren failed. Eris was devastated when his son sided with the savages, and his daughter ran away. He decided to resign his position. He'll make the announcement today. Eris hopes to restore his family, but I think it's a lost cause.
That's for Oren. choke on your own blood, you bastard. My father, the entire council, they're all guilty. They all have to die. I have to do this, so stay out of my way.
Vea actually did it. She killed Brivin in cold blood. Vea killed Brivin without a writ. It was pure, focused rage. I never expected her to go through with it. If Vea doesn't get herself killed up there, the Morag Tong will hunt her down and execute her, like a rabid gua. Her and me both. I'm not sure they deserve to be saved, but that's what we have to do. Vea can't be allowed to kill the councillors. We have to stop her. It's more than me and Vea's lives on the line. Something like this could destroy the Morag Tong. The Morag Tong only recently began to find acceptance again. Vea's actions don't just reflect badly on me. They could be used to force us back into the shadows, maybe even disband us all together. We're both going to have to answer for this. We have to get ahead of her. Cut her off. There's a door on the main floor, near the kitchens, that should allow us to come at the council meeting from another direction. I was able to get it open when I was scouting around up there. Let's go. Nothing's more important than reaching the council meeting. If the mercenaries get in our way, cut them down. Let me try to open this door.
Vea, daughter. I'm so sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen.
Come on, stubborn, stupid
Fuck.
mother.
Why? Does the house really matter more than your own son?
I needed to protect Ulron, to prove his loyalty. If I could do it all over again.
But you can't! None of us can! That's why I have to do this!
That's an order!
I'm not your apprentice anymore. The house has grown corrupt, evil. That's why all the councillors have to die. No more rules! No more secrets! House Redoran falls today!
Enough, Vea! This isn't the way! Vea's down. It's over.
So much bloodshed. So much needless death. If only Eris would have listened. Outlander, we should speak. I think we can help one another. The Morag Tong agent. She cares deeply for Vea, doesn't she? It takes great courage to go against your heart and do what you know is best. You both did that by protecting the Council. For that, you have my thanks. A series of regrettable decisions led to this family tragedy, and most of them were made by Eris Relith. I knew of Ulron's compassion concerning the Ashlanders. It was unorthodox, but not worthy of the punishment meted out. Eris was wrong. Eris convinced Brivin to test Ulron. Then the two of them decided to slaughter the Ashlanders. Oh, the Council allowed itself to be convinced that exile was an appropriate punishment, but we were wrong to let it go as far as it did. I didn't say that, but we're not butchers. We do not hire mercenary thugs to wipe out an entire people. This gathering was to deal with that. Eris planned to step down, and we were going to demote Brivin for the part he played. House Redoran behaved poorly. Morag Tong rules were violated. I suggest we make sure these details never see the light of day. Leave the bodies where they are. We will say that Vea died protecting her father and the Council from the War Claws. Cooperate with House Redoran and hold your tongues. It's as simple as that. I shall return to the Council meeting and conclude our business. When we're finished, I expect you and Naryu to both be gone. That is all, Outlander.
I'm not sure about this. It's a generous offer, but those are some big secrets to sweep under a rug. Besides, Vaya isn't dead. At least not yet. She's still breathing. The High Counselor thinks we killed her. The deal hinges upon all of us forgetting this sorry mess ever happened. Besides, once Vaya regains her senses, there's every likelihood that she'll try to kill the Counselors again. When have I ever been able to convince Vaya to do anything she didn't want to do? There's redder blood on Vaya's hands. Once the Morag Tong ties those unauthorized murders to her, she's as good as dead anyway, and, more than likely, so am I. I don't see many options. We can either finish off Vaya now, and go along with the High Counselor's deception, or we slip out of here with Vaya and send her far, far away. She broke her vows and deserves to die. I know that, but it still feels wrong. Yes, you're right, damn it all. Vaya spilled redder blood, and now she has to pay. I'll take care of it. She's my responsibility. You don't have to watch this. Go, I'll meet you back in Balmora after it's done. I need to do this alone. Now go. I'll see you in Balmora. I said I'd deal with this. Vaya is my responsibility. It should be my blade that ends this. Go. I'll see you back at the safe house in Balmora. More deaths, more blood on my hands. Just another day in the Morag Tong, eh, hero? Vaya died quickly. I didn't want her to suffer any more than she already had. This was for the best. If I keep telling myself that, maybe I'll eventually believe it. And my head's still attached to my beautiful neck, so that's something, right? There's always a choice. Vaya could have chosen not to kill Redrin soldiers. She could have chosen not to kill her father. I could have chosen not to kill her. But hey, it seemed like the thing to do. Now leave me alone so I can finish my wine. What do you want, hero? You want me to say that you're right? Fine, you're right, damn it. We'll all keep more secrets, and everything will go back to the way it was. Look, I'd offer you some of my wine, but I don't want to. Really? Is this what justice feels like? My apprentice killed her own father, and I killed her. We've got a lot of death, but not much else. Just another typical day in the Morag Tong. Look, it may not sound like it, but I am grateful for your help. Always, hero. Oh, hey, I want you to have this. Something to remember Vaya by. For an Outlander, I think she kind of liked you. I suppose I kind of like you too. Really, I'm not always this morose. Next time we meet, you'll see. Take care, hero. I need a nice warm bath. I hear the ones in Vivek are spectacular. I'd ask you to join me, but there's barely going to be enough room for me and my head.